Hey, Dr. Brown, or Prof. Brown. I'm just going to tell you my personal testimony now. So, I want to tell you a little bit about first my childhood. I grew up in a Christian home. My mom was a single mother of myself and my four siblings, and I am the youngest. Um, so, to tell you a little bit about how I found Christ and how I came to Asbury, um, there's actually some really cool details that all worked together to get me here. So, the first thing was that first of all, my personal walk with the Lord really started when I was 13, or even 12, when I went to a youth conference. And at this youth conference, I heard about the opportunity to sponsor a child with compassion. And so when I heard about that, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. This is something that I hadn't really ever heard about before. And on that same trip, I heard about the possibility of going on mission trips. And I had never really been to a conference before, heard about those sorts of things, so I was so excited when I heard about both of those at the same time. And I ended up choosing a girl during that trip, during the conference, to sponsor, and she was from El Salvador. And I also found out about a trip that was to El Salvador, and I didn't really exactly like put one and one together to kind of figure out that I would probably end up going to El Salvador, and because she was from there, I might be able to meet her. But that did actually happen, and that was super cool. So that was sort of the first thing that God really just used to draw me into Him. And through that trip, He developed in me um, this passion for people in other cultures, especially in Latin America. And he also started my love of Spanish. And so far, I told you about the youth conference that I went to, and then how that brought me to loving Spanish. Um, and actually, on that trip, also, this is the third thing. Um, I met my trip leaders were from had gone to Asbury, and so that was the first time that I heard about Asbury. So it's really cool. This one day at that one youth conference, God had all of these details work together, where I would find out about a mission trip, I would sponsor a girl, I'd begin to love Spanish, and I'd hear about Asbury, um, and I just so clearly put all of those things together for a really specific reason. It's super cool how all of those details work together, and how through that he not only gave me a passion, but he also gave me a mission. And more importantly than that, I think he brought me closer to himself, and so because of that, I have a personal relationship with him. So I just think that's really cool. And that's just a small part of my testimony, but that sort of explains how I came to Asbury, just because if I hadn't been on that trip or gone to that conference, I wouldn't actually probably have heard of Asbury or been excited about it. But ever since I was 13, I had sort of just decided that I wanted to come here. All the details just seemed perfect, and I knew that there was a good Spanish program here, and that Asbury was really involved in missions. And so sort of all of that just worked out really, really perfectly, and just continued to develop in me these passions and desires, and it was super cool. So that, I think, is really just how I came to know the Lord, um, and how He gave me a mission. Thank you. I had a great semester with you, and God bless.